Well, hi, folks, and welcome into another edition of This Week in Pearl. I'm your host, Frank Hutton, and I'm excited today because we're going to have a very special guest that we haven't had in a while on our show. Looking so forward to that. And we're also going to go under the dome today. We're going to talk to Gene and Dean as well about what's going on at the state capitol. So y'all stay right there because when we return to our special guest. Be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back into This Week in Pearl, where today I am joined with the Honorable Jake Wyndham. Hello, Mayor.
Hey, Frank. How are you doing, man?
Man, I'm much better, thanks.
Yeah?
Since got over all the sickness and stuff. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Springtime, some great weather, except for this past weekend, by the way.
No,
we were on pause. You know, I say to myself all the time, I love when spring starts to occur, but at the same time, the weather gets so volatile. So I was pensive since last Wednesday. I woke up last Wednesday morning and I was like, Lord, please let this weather be light on us. And it was on us. We're fortunate, but there was some lives lost. So certainly our thoughts and prayers go out to the people that and families that lost their lives during this storm this past weekend, not only in Mississippi, over into Alabama as well.
I know, right?
Yeah.
20 some odd folks, I think, so far across the country.
Yeah, it was tough.
The city of Pearl, obviously blessed. It went right between us. I mean, literally, we split it. Tylertown, other places, devastated.
Yeah.
You know, really, really bad. We do pray for those people. Several people that lost their lives. I know there's 6 total in the state.
Yes.
So pretty rough. But yes, we were very fortunate, prepared.
That's right. And our public works and our fire department, our police department, they were primed and ready. When we don't just say that, we really do prepare for these things. That people have certain instructions when we start having this weather. Of course, our fire chief, Ty Burks, is our EOC director, so he's monitoring, having weather briefings with U.S. Weather Service at Jackson. So it keeps us fully informed and helps us to make decisions.
People don't see behind the scenes like I get to.
No.
But to echo your point, there's a lot of things going on that people don't realize when the threat of storms are coming. All the moving parts inside the city that are discussing, talking, planning, getting ready for, preparing for the worst.
Yeah,
praying for the best.
Praying for the best. That's exactly right.
So they don't see that, but a lot goes on back there.
Certainly does.
Yes, it does, and we appreciate all of them. So let's talk a little bit about how the city of Pearl is doing since we had you last. Let's talk a little bit about our bank account, our state revenue.
Well, we're right now holding like number 8 in the state in sales tax revenue, which is a key picture of what the commerce is within the city of Pearl throughout the state. So we're competing statewide, and I'm proud of that factor. I think that some of those things are strategically we're located, but we've also been able to establish ourselves as a business-friendly city, which business development's up 52% in the last 7 years. Revenue's up 39% in the last 7 years. So I don't attribute that to my efforts. I attribute that as our team and the Lord taking care of us,
We're a blessed city.
Yeah, getting in the boat, rowing the same way. So, which ultimately at the end of the day, you put money in a bank for a rainy day fund, but then it allows us to provide more services to our people. So that means we put money away in order for us to continue to pave and do infrastructure projects. And but recently we finished the pickleball courts at City Park, and then also we did a project over at Jenkins Park where we repainted the basketball courts. Things like that, where you can't do everything overnight, but if you steadily plan projects, and over a period of time it mounts up. So it just provides a good product for your citizens.
Help people understand what that means when we talk about sales tax revenue and being able to put money in the rainy day fund and to be able to put that back. How does that directly affect somebody like me, who would just be a tax-paying citizen in Pearl? Kind of help explain what that does for us in terms of bond ratings and being able to buy apparatuses like fire trucks and things of that nature.
Well, number one, it provides services for our people. I mean, when you talk about the equipment all the way from public works to PD to fire trucks, we're able to utilize that, serve our citizens more. I mean, for an example, you have another ladder truck that's coming in that's going to serve the east part of the city. Well, you have a ladder truck that's going to be able to provide more coverage, get higher, do things that your normal engine cannot do. So that's services on the ground. From public works standpoint, buying state-of-the-art excavation equipment. When I came here, we had 2 Mini X's.
I know, right?
And then now we have 8 Mini X's, a trackhoe, and a bulldozer. So when you have 8, 9 pieces of equipment, what do you get done? You get sewer projects done quicker. You get water leaks done quicker. You get major projects, digging out ditches with a smooth lit bucket. All those things happen more, and then that allows you to bring on more qualified personnel to operate that equipment. Everybody can't operate equipment, so Class A operators. All those things work in sync together, so that means you pay people that are professional to do certain type jobs. We have a comptroller now, Zach Phillips, that we brought in from the state auditor's office. We have a person that's retiring inside. Well, I mean, at that point, all that money doesn't go towards just payroll, but it does help to make sure that we're getting the right people in to protect the city and taking care of our tax dollars that come in, and then we distribute them out as they come in. Now, your financial consultant, our financial consultant, Nick Shore, and then Lindsay Ray with Raymond James, they say that the city needs to have 6 months worth of operating funds. Let's say something catastrophic happens. Then right now, City of Pearl is in a position where we can continue operating over 6 months right now if we had no revenue coming in. So you want to make sure you position yourself that way in case something major happens. And that's the type of planning that we put in place. We make sure that we're going to conduct ourselves in a way where our citizens know that they're not going to miss a beat, and that we're going to keep performing the things that need to be performed, and that's what they expect.
And these past storms should remind people of that, because cities that were devastated, they have to continue to operate. And if something were to happen to our area, struck by a massive tornado that would come in and rip up a bunch of things, we would still need to be able to operate and service citizens.
Exactly. And much turmoil and devastation that cities have experienced with that, you have to keep going because your citizens depend on you.
And having that rainy day fund is what that's
for. It does. And then also from the consent, Moody's, which is another, it's an organization out of New York that takes a look at our bond rating, and we have an A13 bond rating at this point, which is an investment bond. Having those reserves on hand provides us the ability to give indicator that, hey, we're healthy financially. When you put those things together, when you go to the bond market, let's say we're going to go do a road bond, and you have an A13 bond rating, then you're going to get a better interest rate.
Right.
Overall, then that saves tax dollars at the end of the day. Or because you're getting a lower interest rate, you might could borrow just a little bit more money to pave more roads. And then what we try to do is pay that off expeditiously. We don't try to sit around with it for a very long time. We do take on debt, but we also try to pay it down quicker, I think, than most cities.
It's fiscally responsible.
Yeah, my wife thinks I'm very tight. But here's the thing. You can be tight, and that's great, but you can be tight to the point where detriment where you're not providing maintenance. And so it doesn't do our citizens any good if you're stacking a bunch of money in the bank and you're not paving roads. So what we're doing is we're rehabbing water lines throughout the city. We're paving streets throughout the city. We have a citywide sewer comprehensive project that we're going to go into some of our older neighborhoods and repair those sewer lines.
And you started that now?
Yes, that's been bid at. That's been awarded to a contractor. So they're going to be it's going to be disruptive sometimes in the neighborhoods. However, I think that infrastructure is the life of your city. I think that I've said it on here plenty of times, Frank, that it's a big animal, and it's like eating an elephant, but you got to do it one bite at a time. And so I don't ever see, like, from my standpoint, in this position where we're not drawing down funds to do infrastructure projects, because after you do some for 30 years and you replace pipe, guess what? It's time to start over.
Exactly.
So it's just a reoccurring theme, but it also maintains the vitality of the cities you move forward. You can't have failing infrastructure. And so those are some of the key things that we've been working on and really come to fruition at this time.
Yes, and the sewer, I think people don't realize just how important that actually is, because the sewer can determine our economic viability. Just sewer.
It can. I mean, like, if you have the availability for sewer, then you have the opportunity for more businesses to come in. You want to make sure that that's functioning correctly, and your water. Sewer and water are one of the two greatest needs when you talk about economic development.
And without that, you'll be a dying city.
Exactly, and we don't want that. And we were not that, and
no,
and we are thriving.
Yes, thank goodness. The Lord has definitely blessed us. So, kind of in that vein, some of the things that we've been working on together, you and I, some of the things we've been working on together that the citizens are going to see is text messaging. And so we do a lot of text messaging that we send out for storms and things of that nature. But we have a new mailer coming out that everybody's going to see. And it's going to talk about being able to drill text messaging down to each individual ward, specifically for, say, a preliminary, maybe a recommended boil water notice, or a wreck in that area that happened that's got traffic backed up. So this mailer that we're showing everyone right here is going out hopefully today on a Monday. When we're recording this is on a Monday. But talk a little bit about this and what this means. This mailer, especially the Text My Gov front of it, and then the I Own Water app on the back, which we talked about several weeks ago on this show.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is just make sure that we're bringing the city into the new age of technology, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, here's the thing, and I don't know if people understand this, how it actually works from an operations side. Let's say 2127 Napoleon Avenue, you have a water leak. Well, then you have a boil water notice that has to go into place by law. Mm-hmm. Historically, what our guys would do, our truck crew that repaired that water leak would have to go to every house in that subdivision and put a door knocker on the door letting them know. Well, what does that do to production? I mean, it plummets, right? So you can't go on to the next water leak because of the fact. So we came up with the signs, and the signs are good, but I mean, I tell our guys, it's like the signs are only as good as if you go back and pick them up, because people don't want to think they've been on water notice for 3 weeks. And so it concerned me because I wanted to figure out a better way to do this. And I think you and I have worked together. We worked together with the alderman as well. Something that we really could dive into and have current events, what's going on right now. If there's a bad wreck at Pemberton and 80, and you can contact the people for them to reroute traffic going home. They're going to pick up their kid. Oh, I need to go a different route. I need to go up Crafton and go to the junior high and come around and get on 80 to go to the upper elementary to pick up my kid. You can bypass things. So it's another service. We're going to be able to provide that through boil water notice, traffic events, city events, things of that nature. Anything that we feel like is relevant for our citizens to receive, that's district specific. Now, this is the deal. This is where we need people. We need people to opt in. Mm-hmm. We're putting this service in, but we need folks to opt into our texting system. And this is just, from a city government standpoint, us trying to be cutting edge and as informative to our citizens as we possibly can. And I think that's something worth saying.
Yeah, there's a lot of information that goes out on text messages.
Yeah, there is.
There's a lot.
And really and truly, phone calls get missed, emails get missed, but
social media posts get missed.
They get missed. Social media posts get missed. And I think probably the thing that and I could be wrong.
We all
but,
carry
but
this.
do you sell the cell phone and this text messaging that's
Yeah.
lingering that you see it?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, historically, as far as data is concerned, that people get their text messages more than they get anything.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do. Just inform our people, make things convenient for them, and make life easier.
So what they're going to see on this mailer is if you live in Ward 1, you're going to get a mailer that looks just like this. It's going to show you what your ward is. Of course, the wards have changed a little bit. This is new. But you're going to see where you live in Ward 1, and you'll actually be able to sign up for Ward 1 by doing a text Pearl Ward 1 to 91896. Then, of course, if you live in Ward 2, it would be Pearl Ward 2, 918 to 91816. That way you would get notified at East Metro Parkway if there was a major backup at that intersection where there's a massive wreck or something that you said, you would get a notification and you could just detour a different way to go home that day because you didn't want to go through there. But that's going to be on the front. Then on the back of that mailer, you have the Eye on Water app. The Eye on Water app is new for everyone because we've gone to digital meters. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so that you could actually put an alert on that if your water starts flowing, whether you be out of town or whatnot. But I mean, you can calculate what you're doing here and looking at how much usage you have each month. And another thing, as a convenient, we had to replace our water meters; they were old. And what this particular meter that we put into input to the ground is Badger. It's a form of Badger meter, which Badger historically has been a meter that has a great reputation, been around over 100 years.
Right.
And so we had to replace it. And this is just a symptom of more technology coming to our citizens where they can look and see what's going on. We've been able to pinpoint, people that have leaks and things of that nature during what time of day, and really been able to help folks correct problems. But at the same time, it's a convenient feature that they
Very
can look
informative.
at. Yeah, so you can
Gives
look
you
on it.
historical text of your bill, going back months and months of what you're paying, even currently what your bill is right now.
Right.
I mean, it's really impressive.
Yeah, so we're proud to be able to provide that, and that's another major project. That was a $3 million project.
Right.
This we've been able to accomplish, and so I'm proud of that. And with these two things in place, it's just a true indication. When I came in the office, when you and I were talking about it, we didn't want to be the city that was not at the forefront when it comes to technology. Technology makes life easy.
It does.
It's like money. Okay, I'm going to explain this. Okay. All right, so money's not everything, but money makes life easier.
It does.
So does technology. So that's the way I look at it. And to make things more convenient in this hustle and bustle world for our taxpayers, I mean, they're the CEOs.
They are.
They're
And here again, everybody's probably carrying one of these.
Oh yeah.
And so
absolutely.
we're getting it down to your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably all use these a little bit too much in our lives, actually.
Probably.
But that's another story.
Very much so. So exciting. So y'all be looking for that. Should be hitting your mailbox this week. All right. So let's talk a little bit about some roads. Y'all paved a lot of roads this year and over the past few years. Paved over 130 miles of roads.
Right. We paved about 100 miles in the last 4 years. So we have more to do. This is a lofty statement. What I would like to say, and somebody would hold me to it, but when you're in office and you're trying to do for the people, you want to leave a legacy. The type of legacy will say, hey, this fella knew how to get things done. So I think with the board that we have, and then our department heads that we have in place, and not just on road accomplishments, but you want to make sure that you leave lasting, impactful things. And not that I'm leaving, I'm running for re-election.
Right. But I know what you're saying.
But what I'm saying
Yes.
is, yeah, so, the
Right.
goal for me would be to get every road in the city of Pearl paved. And, I don't know if our citizens understand, but once we pave a road, then we have it in a organized system. We put it in a spreadsheet, we know what year, and so we color code that for, hey, look, if it's 10 years from now and the road needs to be repaved, we can look back from the data and see, hey, this road's up. And we do that from a deterioration standpoint. We pave roads according to deterioration and what our recommendation comes from our engineer. And I think that's a smart way to do, not because of an emotional feeling. This road needs to be paved. We do it because, hey, there's deterioration here and we need to make sure that that's getting done. And so that's my goal. I mean, that is to get the rest of these roads paved. And I think that, you know, from an asphalt standpoint, when you see asphalt go down, you know, people get a lot more better feeling inside. Now, you don't do that as much on sewer and water projects because it's unseen.
Right.
But they're certainly just as necessary as the road being paved.
Or more so.
Yeah. I
In
mean,
some
if you can't go to the bathroom, you can't take a shower, we're going to have some issues.
You're not going to be driving on the road.
Mama's not going to be happy. Mama's not going to be happy.
No, absolutely not. And it is nice when you're able to drive through the city, not experience a bunch of potholes, and you don't have to worry about your rims getting torn up or tires going flat. That's important.
And you know,
And it makes the city look better.
I spend a good bit of time in a vehicle noticing those things. I mean, from a paper standpoint, potholes. I'm not saying. I mean, I'm human, so I'm not infallible. I'm fallible, so I'm going to miss some stuff. But I call myself going through the city, checking on things, looking at things that are, you know, just obvious that stand out, whether it be a pothole or a truck lost a load of trash, and we need to go ahead and get it addressed before it becomes strode everywhere throughout the city. And I think when you stay tidy like that, it's
Take care of the little things.
well, that's right. Details. Be diligent in small things. And I also have it's not my saying. Deion Sanders said, "Look good, feel good, play good."
Exactly.
But you know, you want to make sure that your city's providing a good representation of itself. You don't need trash there. We don't need grass high, and we try to make sure that our corridors are maintained. Sometimes we get behind because of these torrential downpours.
Sure.
But
Weather
our
does
public
stop
works
things
folks
like
do a
that.
good job of taking care of that. And you know, quite frankly, we get a lot of inmate labor that helps us with that. And we try to treat them like family once they come here. You know, during their daily time, because they give such a great effort on keeping those things clean. So we appreciate all that.
Yes, and they do a good job. They really do.
They do.
But perception, for when the citizen sees the sewer projects and the water projects that are going in, and then they see the paving coming in behind that, perception is a lot. Perception is a lot of reality for most people. So they're seeing progress, and when you bring in, say, a business that wants to move here, and they see this activity going on, that means a lot to people.
Well, it
Wouldn't you
does.
agree?
It does. So from that,
Perception means a lot.
perception does mean a lot. And so if you conduct yourself in, you know, in such a way where,
Right.
number one, you have the sense of that you're taking care of business, and that's what we try to do.
Even down to the trucks that Public Works drives.
Right.
I mean, I remember a day when every truck was a different color, and you didn't know how many, body dings were in it. Police cars were the same.
But you
way.
know, I mean, just
Right.
for a second, I'd like to say a little bit more about that. When we changed over to the leasing program with Enterprise, we saved the city $1.8 million.
Right.
Because what we had was old trucks that had reoccurring maintenance issues and things of that nature. These newer trucks, better gas mileage. These newer trucks, less maintenance on it. So it actually saves the city money every year, and then they look more professional. Not just in public works, but also
Police, fire.
police, fire, all of them. Where we those things. We don't try to run out. Now I don't try to run out and get new vehicles just for the heck of it.
Right.
But if the life of the truck is close to ending, or the vehicle itself doesn't necessarily have to be a truck, then we need to put a different vehicle online. That way it's more efficient, better fuel costs, and less maintenance and
saving money.
reoccurring costs.
Right.
We're
And being
saving
more
them.
efficient.
Yeah.
And then
But
there's the pride factor too. The guy
There-
that's
there
driving
is.
the truck.
there is. And so if you're riding around and you have a beat up truck, I mean, you're representing your city, and we want to make sure that we're representing well. I mean, if you're going to work, and sometimes you work, you might get some dings on the vehicle. I have
Sure,
some
that
on my
happens.
truck.
That happens.
But my point is, we want to make sure that we're maintaining a good image.
Absolutely, because perception does mean a lot
It does.
out there in the world, unfortunately, but it does. So, finished up a good project we're working on right now is the West Rankin Parkway. Because coming from paving roads, we had the East Rankin Parkway that opened up out there, but now we have the West Rankin Parkway, and they are moving gangbusters. Kind of give us an update on what we're looking at here and what's actually going on with West Rankin.
So I always like to have this conversation and back up historically, right?
Yes.
Where we started on this project. So
Right.
2017, I came into office. We had 2 litigation claims. We had a LADAR survey issue, and then a dirt claim that held the project up.
Just stopped it.
So we worked with our state delegation, Senator Kirby, and several others during that time, and met with Dick Hall when he was alive. He was the commissioner for the Central District. We were able to get those 2 claims removed and move forward. Project bid out again in 19. Hemp Hill received the project. Then COVID hit in 2020, slowed the project down. Once the construction company was able to get its bearings from, having to send people home and things of that nature, they had to submit a change order. Well, state law requires the project to be rebid if the change order is 25% above the original cost estimate. So the change order did not go through, and MDOT said we got to punt, we got to look at this, which I understand. They were concerned about spending good money after bad. So my next move from that standpoint was to meet with Brad White. He's the current executive director of MDOT. At that time, he was the chief of staff for Governor Tate Reeves. So before he even made the transition, I was knocking on his door. I said, Brad, we need some help.
Right.
And so Brad and Willie Simmons and the rest of the commissioners came along beside us, helped us out, had Senator Kirby, Gene Newman, Rankin County delegation, Senator Josh Harkins, everybody, pushing this West Rankin Parkway. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say Gary Rhodes had a tremendous impact on it. So we're all trying to, not fight, but push this, not let this project die. And the project was rebid. Utah Construction got the project, and Utah has a reputation for taking care of business. They're a great road company, construction company, and so they're showing out right now. So look, this project was supposed to be done at least once during my administration, and the variables took it out of my hands, right?
Sure.
So I'm not saying it's going to be 2025 or 2020. I mean, it's going to be in 2026, because I'm going to level expectations here, because I don't want people to get excited, because you can run into several weeks and rain days and everything else that pushes a project like this back, especially when it comes to road construction. But the silver lining here is it's getting done, and it was a group effort, and we're certainly appreciative of it. This is going to open up over 1,000 acres.
I was just fixing to ask. So what does this mean once it's open?
So Flowood and Pearl, the 2 sister cities working together. We have our zoning the same. We're thinking big project. We really want to work with our board of supervisors, with the county, city of Flowood and Pearl, also with state leadership, MDA, Mississippi Development Authority, to try to bring something in here that's going to have a huge impact as far as jobs are concerned. Now that's pie in the sky. That's not happened yet, but that's something that I'm working on. What I would love to see, people rave about data centers, all right? And I like data centers, don't get me wrong. From an ad valorem standpoint, their assessed values through the roof. So the city, the county, and the school districts win. However, when we start talking about impacting individual people within the metro area, I lean more towards like an advanced manufacturing. What we've tried to do, what state leadership's trying to do is increase workforce development. So we take this advanced manufacturing, guess what? If somebody is making $15 an hour in Pearl trying to take care of their family, and they automatically increase their skill set, and then they make $30 an hour, what does that do to their family?
That's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. So instead, and data centers employ about 80 people. Advanced manufacturing employs over 1,000.
Right, if you could say 800 plus.
Right. So that's what I would like to see. But not only would it affect Pearl, it will affect Rankin County, it will affect Hinds County, Madison County, Scott County. It's a joint effort, just like, for an example, what Nissan has done. I don't know what the count is. How many people live in Rankin County that work at Nissan?
A lot.
A lot. And it ultimately changed their life, you know?
Sure.
So what I'm trying to do something that's really impact our people and give them a better life. Like I said earlier, I mean, do more for their families. Let's say go out to dinner or go to the movies or go on this vacation, and you know, those are the type of things.
Quality of life issues.
Quality of life. And
Exactly.
I think that's really
this project could bring that.
this project could certainly bring that, and we're going to be. I have a good relationship with the Board of Supervisors in Rankin First, and also with the City of Flowood, and so we're going to be, again, we've made great efforts on other projects, and this is another project that we're going to get in the room on and push forward, and I think that we can make something happen.
Yeah, I'm excited about this project. I think it's great, and the corridor being open between us and Flowood is going to drive a lot of traffic. It's great for our businesses on Pearson.
It is. It's going to drive your traffic count north and south. It's going to increase business development on Pearson Road and any raw land that we have here on the west side of the city, and some down 80 as well.
Right.
Access is a lot. Egress and ingress, as far as getting places, provides key points for economic development. So not just from a major project standpoint,
Right.
when that 1,000 acres is mitigated, all the way down to impacting our current businesses
Right.
on Pearson Road and 80.
Well, I'm looking forward to this, and thank you very much on that project. So let's stay on Pearson, and let's move down the road a little bit. Project that's already been completed, the intermodal connector. Now, that project you worked on, obviously, when you got here. History-wise, it had kind of been stalemated. The railroad didn't help us very much, and they don't have to because they're the railroad.
Yeah.
But it got done. Got done last year. I guess it's been over a year. It's been 2 years almost, but it got done. But how has that impacted us? How has that impacted Pearl now?
Well, it's good. It's helping open up the raw land that we have on the south part of the city, which in that area is industrial. So it's just going to bring more jobs. But there's a second phase to it. We've received funding from. We've had funding from Michael Guest's office, helped us spearhead, and Senator Hyde Smith's office, approximately $9 million. One's $5 million earmarked for a relief bridge that's actually past Richland Creek. It will go over Richland Creek.
Okay.
And then the $4 million would provide the environmental funding. What we would like to do is have the relief bridge. Then we tie into Low Circle, another project with a main road opening up probably 600 to 800 acres of land.
Wow.
Same type deal. We have the ability for access in the area. You have 49 Pearson Road, then you have rail. All these key components of all the makings of a great economic development project. So we're working hand in hand with the city of Richland on that, and hopefully that we just continue moving forward on that project and something major occurs.
Right, because that's just going to spur more stuff. And
Yeah, so for us, the project, the 800 acres is in Richland. However, 468, you have a lot of land in that area, has been rezoned for commercial. And so what we will look at, depending on what kind of business went there, whether it be manufacturing, different options that went there, then you would have second and third tier supply chains that could provide that were located right in the city of Pearl. So there's
more jobs for our citizens.
More jobs for our citizens, and there's certainly a vision that you have to put in place, and for you got to look for the long game.
Yeah, right.
There's some things in city government is short game, right?
Right.
But would you set the fields fertile with trying to put these major projects together? I mean, it might not even come to fruition during my tenure as mayor. However, the things that were needed to set the field fertile to make sure things happen are going to be put in place.
That kind of goes back to infrastructure.
It does.
And
It
forethought and planning.
Absolutely, and getting the right people in the room. And I've tried to build a network, not here just locally, but also at the state level and also at the federal level going to Washington. So I think that I have the relationships in order to keep some of these things going and keep funding coming to the city of Pearl, Rankin County.
And we can build all these roads and we can have all these jobs, but one of the things that you also have to have is housing.
Yeah, which we've been able to
And
do
let's
that.
talk about some rooftops.
We have, when USM came in and partnered with us on a strategic plan back in 2017, they said you need some new infrastructure and new homes. So, nothing nefarious to our sister cities, Brandon, Flowood, whether it be there or Clinton or anywhere else, but
Right.
We have housing here, but what our goal was to have new constructed homes. Whether somebody's income level grows and they want to go to a larger home, they can. And that was the goal. I mean, we have done the things that people or experts, have asked us to do. Our financial consultant says, you need to do this. Okay, we're doing that. We don't deviate. Right. We do the formula and the plan that makes good sense and provides results. So you have a person come in from USM that's done this on several occasions, that's built this strategic plan for other cities, and we go in and it's just like a playbook. It's like playing football.
They're experts at it.
Hey, look,
Right.
One thing that Bruce Merchant and John Perry has always told me, if everybody does their job on this play, we should score a touchdown, right?
Right.
All right. So stick to the playbook.
Right.
Don't deviate.
And do your job.
And a lot of times, you get pulled in all these different
Sure.
directions. However, you go back to the playbook. What's the playbook say? Infrastructure, newly constructed homes. So that's what we've been able to do on the north side of the city, southwest side of the city, and the southeast side of the city.
There's a lot of
currently.
rooftops going up.
Yeah, there is, and there will be over 1,000 homes built within the last 7 years. We have about 452 upcoming currently.
Yeah.
And it
That's a
makes
lot.
me happy too to be able to provide. I mean, I don't own the land and I'm not the housing developer. However, we work closely with it, and it goes back to developing a reputation that you're easy to work with. I never want to be known as that city that there's a barricade, everything. Now, you have building codes that you
Right,
have to,
right, obviously, yes.
you have to conform to, and ours is 2018 building codes that are required, which are no different than city of Brandon, city of Clinton, city of Flowood, or other cities across the state that have adopted 2018 IBC codes.
So all of us are all working on the same playing field.
Yeah, but in our community development department, everybody has a construction background, which makes a difference once you get there on a site, whether it be a residential site or a commercial site. And I think that residential construction and commercial construction can appreciate that.
Yeah, and there's a lot more that I think that people don't realize it goes into. You're talking about a plan that started in 17. This is 25. So this is something that takes time. People have to be patient and they have to see what's going on. Think about that. That's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And these things are just now really kind of coming into fruition. I don't think people really, we're a society of I want it now. But it takes a lot of planning to build it correctly, right?
Yeah. To move major projects.
To move major projects.
It
Yes.
doesn't take, it takes some time.
It does.
So-
And I know one that I particularly proud of that really nobody really even knows about. It was a multi-million-dollar project, but it's so important, was the Grandview Sewer Project, the Interceptor.
Yeah.
And that means a lot, because we've talked on this show, we talked to Shane Burrell on this show about this. That Interceptor is huge because it is our direct sewer flow to the sewer treatment facility. And without that being the size that it is now, without it going in and being reconstructed, it would directly impact what you could do in the future in terms of bringing in more housing, more business development. Everything's affected by that sewer project.
Right. So
That was a
I
big
guess
deal.
I would just be remiss if I didn't say we built that sewer treatment project because number one, we were told City of Jackson was starting to control our permitting, so they were directly affecting any type of growth in Rankin County.
Right.
And so everybody that sits on the West Rankin Utility Authority Board said, we got to move. We got to do something. And, but yeah, once that was built, our plant now is a 20 MGD plant. We operate daily at 11 MGDs.
Right.
And So in order for us to take on more capacity, whether it be in business development or residential development, that Grandview Interceptor needed to be put in place. And it was something that was a long overdue project. Basically the cavity where it was at, you could drive a semi truck from all the sucking of the dirt. So that was a rehab. That was a $3 million project.
Right.
And it's a much well needed project. Secondarily to that project was the fact that, you know, what you had was infiltration. You just had stormwater going into this interceptor, and it would be metered out at the station, at the plant itself.
Right.
So our position on that is to provide better pipes within our neighborhoods, because that reduces the amount of stormwater that comes in, and at the end of the day, we'll reduce our flow. And what our goal is to have structurally sound infrastructure in place, but also hopefully when we start making these improvements, then that can reduce cost at the end of the day. And even if we do have development now, this West Rankin Utility Authority board currently, we've purchased more property through the utility authority. So if this plant gets maxed out at 20 MGDs, we can have an additional, not additional facility, but just we can add the amount of MGDs right next to it. So we thinking long term.
It's planned.
The feasibility study is
Yes.
like 30 years that it's going to be able to hold 20 MGDs based on Rankin County's growth. So that's a project was costly, and I know people do feel that on their water bill, but also I would say that if we would have stayed with the city of Jackson at Savannah Street, our water bills would be much higher than what they are now. And secondly, Rankin County would not have the ability to grow and do things that we're doing right now. So it's a win-win for Pearl.
Absolutely. Are you having fun? Are you
if
fun? Are you enjoying this?
I am enjoying it.
I think you are.
Yeah, I like it. I like getting things done.
Yeah.
I appreciate the job. It's a good job, and it's a probably not probably it's the highest honor I've had in my life. You know, as far as the position that I'm in which I know there's a great responsibility. But you know, I look back on it in 2017. I said, I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. I mean, that's it.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The Lord's been really good to Pearl, and so there's been certain situations like providentially things would occur that no man could make it happen, right?
Right.
And then something would happen, and then it was like, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God made a way.
That's right. So, but when we see those openings, we seize the day.
Yeah.
We
right.
take opportunity. We don't sit on our hands, and we take advantage of the opportunity.
I'm a big proponent of God puts you where He wants you, when He wants you there.
Yeah.
For a reason. And He put you here to be the mayor of Pearl for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
And
That's
He's
true.
blessed this city. And we talked about that in staff meeting. You know, we
do.
talk about how He's blessed this city.
We do. And then, you know, there's intricate things that happen day to day that, I mean, they're not out in the forefront like Public Works, PD and FD, but like you and the IT department, and then our accounting, our city clerk's office, you know, the people that work in Public Works, in the office itself, Parks and Recs that provide the quality of life for our children and for our adults. I mean, we're one big team, and we work together. And I think that we've been able to turn out a good product. Now, there's been times we've had setbacks. Let's talk about the park. The park was a setback, but out of our hands. We had a general contractor that was basically he gotten sick, and then without putting too much of his business out there, and then his company was being not disbanded, but he was closing his company down. Well, guess what? When you're putting together a park and you have a general contractor that's going out of business because he's retiring, it's hard to get subcontractors to come work for that guy because they want reoccurring work. And
COVID and all of those things.
right. And so just to set the record straight, that park was awarded August of 2020 in the midst of the COVID crisis.
Right.
And it was hard to get labor. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that, and then, but we're on the other side of that. But you go by there yesterday, my son and I was riding by Center City Park, and then we went down to the park itself, to Pearl Park, we've always called it, growing up here. And look, there was just tons of people out there on the playground. There was tons of people on the tennis and pickleball courts. I mean, that's what you want to see, people having a good time and utilizing the things that we were able to provide for them out there.
We have some really nice facilities.
We do. And it's a smaller project, but we just did a project at Jenkins Park. We just repainted a basketball courts. They look really good. And so, again, those things, like, you don't realize when you pop up one day and there's another project going. It's not like we sit around. We understand.
It's a lot of moving parts in the city.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot.
It is.
A lot more than what people realize. Is it more than you realized when you came in 17?
Yeah, I mean.
What's the biggest surprise so far?
I think probably, you just got to, everybody has their own way of doing things, but I've just built myself a system about how to handle certain things.
Sure.
So just as the learning curve when you're learning a new job, drinking out of a fire hydrant,
Right.
putting yourself, you're building your own systematic way to handle certain components. So at this point, I'm not saying I can handle everything, but I've seen a lot in 7 years.
Right.
And I can make short work of it just because of continued experience. And this position that I'm in right now, it's a 24
Yes, it
hour
is.
a day, 7 days a week. And,
Yes, it is.
and if somebody doesn't want to do that, then they can't do this job. But now, again, I was prepared for that because I was in law enforcement. I was on call. I knew how to be exposed, and then live your life in that way where you know that you're subject to being called out at any given moment. So I think that's the thing, just making sure that you have a correct way to handle certain things, and not to be emotional, but to make sure that you're handling things with all the facts at hand.
Agreed. Enjoyed having you on today, Mayor.
Yeah, I enjoyed being on today. It's been a while, Frank. I thought you were mad at me, man.
No, absolutely not. But glad you could. Your schedule's busy. There's a lot that goes on. Just these things that we've been talking about today. These things you work every single day on something, and we've scheduled this to happen before today, and because of your schedule and things that happen, it just gets punted down the road, and people don't realize how much you actually do, and we're just scratching the surface on
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even start talking about
No.
some of the things that we're wanting to do, we're doing at City Hall. We're going to, do some outside renovation, painting at City Hall, renovate the old high school gym.
Right, we didn't even discuss Main Street down here.
That's right. So, I mean, some of
There's a
those
lot.
things, there's a lot more that's going on, and I'll be honest with you, until they happen, I won't discuss them, but people are going to be seeing some big changes on Highway 80. I'm going to put it out there like that, and I'll let it come to
Right.
culminate on its own, but they'll be saying they'll be proud of it.
They'll be proud of it.
They certainly will.
They will, because there's a lot moving in Pearl, and we need to keep the momentum.
Yeah, that's right, Frank. I appreciate the time, man.
Thanks for coming in, Mayor. We appreciate it.
Yep, have a great day.
So we appreciate the mayor coming in. We got a lot more coming up on the show, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Hi, folks, and welcome back into This Week in Pearl. Now we're going to go under the dome today with our esteemed guest, Representative Gene Newman, State Senator Dean Kirby. Good morning, fellas.
Top of the morning to you, sir.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
As we're filming this today on a Monday.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's only 20 days left.
It's only 20 days left of the session. We're at day 70. Aren't you excited?
I
Yeah.
am.
You do tell people we filmed this at 5:30 in the morning.
I'm asleep at 5:30 if I can be. So we've got a lot. You've got 20 days left. We've had 70 days worth of a session. Lots going on, but before we get into that, let's talk about what just recently transpired over the weekend. We
dodged a bullet.
Let's talk about that.
Lord blessed us greatly because we weren't involved right in this central Mississippi area in those tornadoes, those bad storms. So yeah, the Lord blessed us
And we need to pray for those people that were affected by
without
those
a doubt.
storms.
And there was a lot of people affected from North Mississippi and South Mississippi. There was a total of 6 deaths, 3 in Walthall County, 2 in Jefferson Davis County, and 1 in Covington County. And I think the governor said there was 29 injured, and millions of dollars in property damage. I have a friend whose in-laws live up in Grenada County, and they had a farm, large farm, and they lost everything. So a lot of people lost a whole lot. So insurance adjusters are busy this morning.
How is that going to go, Gene, with insurance? How quick do they? I mean, MEMA was there on the ground immediately.
Well,
but how is the insurance going to go?
This is all I can tell you. If you got Farm Bureau, you got people already out there looking at you right now. I can guarantee you that. Farm Bureau in Mississippi is probably the best insurance company there is. Now there's other good ones, and they will all gear up and get adjusters in here. I can assure you, some of these bigger insurance companies that are in Mississippi or have adjusters on the way here from different places right now to help get this done, and they want to get it done right. The sad part about it is, especially in rural areas, is when you have people who are severely underinsured. They buy the minimum insurance that they can get away with, because insurance where you don't have fire departments, people in Pearl don't realize how lucky they are to have the fire department that they have here, and therefore the homeowners' insurance rates are as low as they are because of that fire department and what they do every day. And people.
You're talking about a town like Tylertown or someplace where they rely on volunteer fire.
That's right. You might have the best volunteer fire department in the world. They're guys that train, work hard all the time, but they're still a volunteer fire department. And the insurance rates are going to reflect that. Whereas our rating is like a 4. Their ratings is 8, 9s, and 10s.
Oh my gosh.
And so the best rating in the state it may still be, is 3.
Which is Jackson.
Which is Jackson. But these people, these people that have literally, like you said, lost everything, and maybe had a death in the family.
That's correct.
The insurance premiums are high.
I had an underwriter several years ago tell me, with a major company, that they had a rate increase, and I was talking to them about it. And they said, well, because of all the tornadoes and hurricanes and so I said, well, how about Oklahoma? And they said, I will send you a list. Mississippi has more tornadoes than any state.
Actually, there is one state that has more tornadoes, and there's a reason for that. That's Texas. Texas is almost always number one because it's so big.
The size.
But Mississippi has more tornadoes than Kansas or Oklahoma, those places. But the difference is Oklahoma and Kansas gets theirs in the daytime where people can run around and film them.
And see them, right, storm chase and
most
all
of the ones Mississippi gets are at night. This past Saturday was an exception that most of them came during the day. But
and most of Texas don't have the tall pine trees like we have.
We have.
The
softwoods.
It's flat land, and you can see a tornado
that are easily
coming.
splintered, and they become projectiles and missiles. And
yeah.
Well, we do feel for those people that are devastated. And you said Pearl
Absolutely.
dodged a bullet. You know, it's really bad when the national news media is in town. When they're in town reporting live from Mississippi, it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the joke running about the guy from the Weather Channel, if he shows up to your town.
Well, I was out of town once. That
Right.
happened to me, and I turned on the TV because the weather's bad, and he was at the hotel
That
that
you
I
were
was staying in.
Right.
And saying, you know, if you're anywhere near this area, take shelter. And I thought, you got to be
Great,
kidding
you
me.
got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
But I noticed that the major news coverage was coming out of Mississippi, and of course
Yeah,
then
it
they
was.
followed behind, moved on into Alabama, and they've just worked their way to Georgia. But I woke up that morning, and next thing I see is a report from Tylertown, Mississippi, on Fox Weather.
Yeah, it's
And I'm
scary.
thinking, oh my, this is bad. This is
And
bad.
it was bad.
So MEMA, of course, responded quickly. I do know that. It was all out publicized. MEMA was there. Legislative-wise, unless they come to you for something, there's really nothing that you guys will be doing this year with this, right?
Yeah, the only thing would be is if MEMA gets through this and then realizes just before the end of the session that they're going to come up short, that they need some kind of additional funding, they might come ask for that. But I think they're good where they're at. So I don't, but you know,
MEMA's been funded, and as you said, fortunately, we've kind of dodged a couple of bullets the last handful of years. So MEMA has not had to dig deep into pockets, right?
That's true.
So they're fully funded. You would think they were probably fine. They'll respond good. And
You know, and MEMA does a wonderful job. I don't know if the viewers, how many of them have actually been out to MEMA and seen their facility. But if you ever saw the movie War Games, where they had all these large
Right.
screens and all these rooms, that's the way MEMA looks. It's amazing. It is, I mean, they can. I just couldn't.
well, we
believe
should
it.
bring the director on.
He's
We should
good.
get him. We should get him later in the year,
Yeah.
and we should show
go
people,
out there and film a little
go
bit.
out there and film a little bit, and then show people kind of what their Mississippi Emergency Management Agency looks like on the inside of that building.
Yeah, and the same thing if you go into Southern Pine Electric's building in Taylorsville. They have what they call a war room
Right.
as well, with probably 200-inch screens all around. And if electricity goes off in one place, it lights up and starts blinking. I mean, they know immediately.
Technology.
It's yeah.
Technology.
Yeah, that with the drones that fly over
Right.
the areas now for them.
And half of Rankin County is Southern Pine.
Oh yeah, a lot of it.
A lot of it is Southern Pine.
Pearl.
Well, there's a little bit of Pearl, you know.
We're Southern Pine.
I'm on
Yeah.
Southern Pine. Yeah.
Right. You can just draw a diagonal line kind of through Pearl, and that's where energy stops, and you know, because
Exactly.
where I live, I'm Entergy, and I could throw a rock and hit your house just about.
Well,
and,
the street behind me is Energy, and I'm Southern Pine.
exactly. That
Yeah, it
is,
is.
so we're just right here on the line, and I think they did a good job getting everybody's power back on.
They really
quickly.
did. They did
they were
an excellent
staged for
job. But let me tell you, the power companies, the way they do, when you have an emergency like that, they had like other co-ops come in
Oh, right.
that aren't affected, and they help each other. They work together really well. It
I
helps.
know, and they contract with companies like B&B Electric and stuff that they
do that as well.
They stage them, they have them ready to go. So I mean, they do a good job. They know the storms are coming, so they're prepared.
They are.
They did really well, but our heart does go out to them. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on down at the dome, under the dome, on both sides. So we've had a little bit going on with taxes. So where are we this week? What's going on with taxes this week?
Well, let me tell you, they worked over the weekend, actually. The people that are on those committees, finance
Negotiators.
The negotiators.
Yeah, and I started to say fortunately, I don't know if it's fortunate or not, but I'm not on that negotiating committee, thank goodness. But anyway, my understanding, they're very close to working something out.
Okay.
So hopefully, like we said all the time, we're going in the same direction. We're just on different highways, and maybe
Right.
those highways are coming
Everybody wants to
together.
do something.
Yeah. So I think that we'll have some type of tax bill before it's over. Of course, we got 20 days. Like I say, we got 20 days to do it. And as I mentioned earlier, we started out with over 3,000 bills, and we're down to 150 or whatever.
Right, which is
So, and a lot of those will be worked out. Some of those will die, but most of those are appropriation bills. I'd say 80 probably are appropriation bills that we will do something on.
now that funds obviously you're funding the government
That's right.
with the appropriations, and you said
That's
there's
right.
over 80 of those.
It is in conference that'll be worked out. So.
And how will that happen? Kind of explain what that looks like in
Sure.
conference.
Well, what
Because you're not going to talk
happens-
about each individual bill, or I mean appropriation, are you? I mean, I guess
Oh,
you
yes,
could.
yeah, well, we are. I mean, of course, first on the calendar right now, like I say, we probably have 80. And what'll happen there is we'll not take those up one at a time unless it's something they've already agreed on. If that's already out of conference, or they've signed conference reports already, but most of them, they have not. So, but on the calendar, we'll probably take them, most of them up in a block or in block.
Okay.
And so then the Lieutenant Governor, of course, and the Speaker get involved as well. And you have the 3 conferees from the Senate and 3 from the House, and they'll sit down and compromise and work things out best they
Yeah,
can.
let me add something more important in there. So there's a group that works for the legislature called we call it the LBO. It's the Legislative Budget Office.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the folks that are doing all the numbers back and forth.
They are.
So every time that we'll just say the chairman of the House Ways and Means says, well, okay, why don't we cut this off over here and do this over here? Those LBO people have to go figure that up and come back and say, okay, this is what happens when you do that.
When you do that, then you're over your budget, or you got $10 million left.
And
So
when you
they're
do this
actuaries,
here,
basically.
Yeah.
they're accountants.
They're accountants.
They are.
And when you do this here, this happens over here. But so the whole thing doesn't work without them.
Right.
So we need to acknowledge that the
LBO is important.
The LBO is extremely important, you know, and they do a really good job.
Yeah, the Legislative Budget Office, and of course, they get their numbers from the Budget Committee that meets in September, November, and December to come up with a final recommendation. So.
Do they work year round?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it's an ongoing, it's a never-ending project.
Right, because I mean they're monitoring how the agencies are spending their money.
Absolutely.
And how much they spend on payroll, how much they spend on projects, how much they, they're monitoring all of that, right? So that they can give you a report in committee, this is where they are, this is what they're asking for, and then y'all can decide. So that's very important. How many people are in that office, would you say?
Wow.
He knows, I don't.
Best guess.
8 to 10.
They do that with
But-
10 people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
Wow.
one person is responsible for this, and this.
I got it.
Another
Yeah,
person.
they divide it up.
And then you have the people who actually do the work, and then you have you got a couple of managers that make sure it all fits
Yeah.
together.
Sure.
Leanne Robinson actually is the director, I think,
Yeah,
right
she's the
now.
director.
And she lives in Flowood, by the way.
Then we should have her on this show. Leanne, we're inviting you to come on this show to talk
She does
about
a
the
good- she does
LBO.
a good job.
You have an alderman at large, David Stovall. His wife is in the LBO.
Is she now?
Yeah,
Well, that's news to me. I guess she works at the LBO.
yeah.
Does she really? Well, isn't that interesting?
So, we like Rankin County. folks.
We're a good county. we do our job to contribute, but you mentioned that we really should. That would be very insightful to have them here and to
It
kind of
would be.
explain kind of how that works, because I think the more we can educate the voter,
Absolutely.
the more we can educate the voter, which is the purpose of this show, is to educate Pearlonians, Rankin County, and then all of the other people that watch on what's going on in your Congress, what's going on locally, what's happening.
Not Congress.
And
Well, in your legislators.
And Leanne's-
Congress is federal. In your
Leanne's
legislature.
Leanne's husband actually works for the city of Flowood, too.
No kidding. Let's just keep it all in the family.
That's right.
Well, we're trying.
Rankin County is leading the way.
That's correct.
Well,
Always.
actually, you're right. Rankin and Madison, because of the fact, I mean, we're so close to the capital.
Sure.
Doesn't make sense for someone in Tupelo to have one of those
No,
jobs.
why, obviously
so,
it would
yeah.
not. So taxes, you think we will get somewhere? They work
I think
through the
we will.
weekend,
We hope so. We got good people on both sides working on it, and
We do.
they're smart people, and they want to do what's right. They want to make sure that we're able to fund government when it's done, but at the same time they know that right now we're collecting too much money, and we just figure out the right way to do it.
And while we're
And
throwing,
that's the key to it.
and
Right.
while we're throwing names out there, our lead negotiator is the finance chairman, of course, and that's Josh Harkins from Rankin County.
from Rankin County.
Yeah,
Right.
it does a wonderful job.
Right, really does. And I know as a citizen, not only of Rankin County, of Pearl, but of the state and then of the country, obviously. But I have made my views known as well. That I am of the opinion, if we're just not there yet,
Leave it alone.
let's leave it alone. Let's punt it for a year. What's it going to hurt? I mean, literally, what's it going to? And I don't bring this from a position of just Frank's position. This is people that I've talked to. I mean, we're not just trying to cut taxes for the sake of a talking point, are we? Or are we really legitimately wanting to do it for the right reasons, or are we wanting to do it for a talking point? That's what people have discussed with me, even at the Kroger. You know, they have said, hey, I'm kind of with you. I would rather us look at how things are going to transpire from the top down.
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty right now.
There is. There's a lot of uncertainty
in
right now.
Washington, so we have to be careful.
And that's that. And so I hear people telling me, let's wait. Does this have to happen right now? Sure, it'd be great if I don't have to pay taxes. That'd be great if my taxes go down. But right now I got a bird in the hand. I know what I'm working with. And we don't know what's going to happen in the next, 6, 7, 8 months. There could be a lot change in Washington. There'd be a lot of things that happen there. Revenues could go up in the state. Revenues could go down in the state. Nissan could decide tomorrow they want to move. I mean, there's all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, you have to be very cautious.
So it's prudent to be cautious. I applaud your effort to be cautious. And I know people get frustrated with that, and you get a lot of these keyboard warriors that want to get out and fuss, but I think it's.
But you're right. We do have a nice surplus right now, but again, you can see in one weekend of storms how things can change.
Right.
And
those people need our help.
And they do. And of course we have another hurricane, which we will. It's just a matter of when.
Right. It's just a matter of when. So
we
I
have to-
applaud your efforts to try to come together. Frank is not going to be upset if you decide to just do nothing.
I think we'll do something. I think we'll do something. Just as something else we're talking about, we'll do something like on PERS as well.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that. So let's get to that. So PERS, that's a hot topic. Everybody talk about it. Gene, you've been emphatic. Would you like to tell us?
So let's say it one more time.
let's
We're
say
going
it
to
one
talk
more
about PERS. No retiree is going to be affected. Nobody that's currently retired from PERS and drawing PERS is going to be affected in any way, shape, form, or fashion, especially your 13th check. Nobody who is currently employed by any state agency that's under the PERS system is going to be affected. So
Or will be until July 1st. If we get something, it'll be effective probably July the 1st.
but that's
Or
somebody
any employee before
they're
then.
not currently employed, but it's somebody after July the 1st, and it may not even take effect this year. It may not take effect until next year.
May not.
And what it's going to do is it's going to change the way their retirement system will be. Still going to be a retirement system because we recognize that for people to work for the state, they have to have a reason to make them want to work for the state, and the retirement system is an important incentive. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to be something that's not workable. It will be something that will make them still want to work for the state. It's just not going to be what they have right now.
Nothing will change, as Gene said. The COLA will be the COLA so
Until the last one goes out the door,
that's right.
it's going to stay. That part of it's going to stay the
For
same.
those existing employees, you will, and for those existing retirees, nothing will change.
us. Right. Nothing's going to change.
That's right.
So we can't drive that home enough. Nothing is going to change for current PERS
And what we
people.
passed out of the Senate is what their board, elected by the state employees.
Right. Us again.
Recommended.
Right.
So we're taking their recommendation and going with it.
Got it. So we're going to fully fund PERS.
It won't happen overnight.
No.
It'll take a lot of years.
Eventually.
But it will eventually resolve itself.
Right, it will. And there's going to be something new on the horizon for new employees.
Right. That's what we're saying. The new employees will have a different type. It'll be some type of hybrid retirement plan where they're
Right.
Still very competitive.
Yeah.
Retirement Tier 5 program.
Which, and if you were in that plan right now, you would be, I would think, excited about that, because I think the recent pullback in the stock market is basically pulling the hammer back, because it's going to just explode. So it may be a bear market for most, but it's a buyer's opportunity, in Frank's opinion. In Frank's opinion. Because if you just go back on history, if you just look back, you can't say that history is necessarily what's going to happen, but it's what's going to happen. If you study history and you look back, you will see that trends are predictable. And we're in one of those that it's fixing to explode. Anyway, so no PERS changes. None.
For existing employees or existing
Right, for
retirees.
all of you keyboard warriors out there are no PERS changes for existing people.
The House doesn't want that. Any
The Senate
changes,
doesn't want
and the
that.
Senate
The governor doesn't want that.
you
The
know,
Lieutenant governor doesn't want that. Nobody
and the
wants
PERS board doesn't want that. That's
So
how,
there you go. Can't say it any more emphatic. No changes.
There you go.
Gonna fund it. Not an overnight process. Right?
right.
got it.
So everybody let it go. Let it go. There's other things to talk about. So there's more important things to talk about, right? So we did talk a little bit earlier about stuff you had in conference. You had over 80 bills. There's some general bills. And you mentioned too, Dean, that there's you start out with 3,000 of these things.
Yeah.
About 3,800.
3,800 this year,
Give or
right?
take a few.
Give or take a few. We're down to what?
150. Right?
About that.
150 or so.
And
So what's
80 of those are appropriation.
kind of outline the next 20 days for me on these general bills, how this is going to go.
Okay, well, like I say, the lieutenant governor will name conferees, and the speaker will name 3 conferees as well. And those
This is on
6
each bill.
Got it. On
every
each bill.
and they'll get those conference committees will get together and come up with a compromise, and hopefully, or the bill will die. Now, we're not going to kill appropriation bills, obviously,
Right.
but they'll come up with a compromise, which is the same way we've done it always, and every state does it all over the United States. So, and in Washington, as far as that goes. So, we'll work it out, and we've got. Well, we actually have till tomorrow to get those off the calendar to go to conference, I think.
So we're filming this on the 17th
The
of
ones
March.
that haven't already gone to
So,
conference. Now
They have until tomorrow, the 18th of March.
to get the ones off that conference hadn't been invited.
Okay.
So
By the time we get around to the 19th of March, if it didn't come out of conference,
if it's still on the calendar, we're in trouble.
gotcha. It's not going to make it.
Yeah. But
But appropriations will all come through more
Yeah.
than likely. That funds the government, right?
and then we'll have conference weekend.
Yeah, well, you don't have to. You can wait and let the governor call a
Conference
special
weekend. I'm trying to remember. Will that be this next weekend or the next?
session. I don't know.
Anyway, we'll work all through the weekend getting all these bills compromised on, I guess you could say, and filed, and then hang on, because we go through them like that at that point.
Okay.
So
Any surprises or anything? No?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't know of any great surprises. I mean, there's some people that obviously want projects they're not going to be able to get this year. That happens every year. And there's some people going to get projects they never thought they would get when they asked for them. But that's up again to chairman and the conference committees, the lieutenant governor and the speaker, as to what
Right. That's right.
what happens there. So,
Okay. How's the bank account look for the state?
Oh, really good. The state's in the best fiscal position it's ever been in, ever.
That's great.
In addition to that,
Like ever.
we've paid off and we've paid off over $1 billion in debt at the same time,
That's amazing.
and given pay raises and lowering taxes. So, but as I've said
It's a
before,
balancing act.
yeah, as I've said before, we've been on a sugar high from the COVID money.
COVID funds.
And those funds are running out, so we have to be very, very careful because the revenues aren't exactly where we'd like for them to be. I think we're still, a little above projection at this point, but it's close. And but we've seen the last 2 or 3 months a decline.
But if we just stay right at what's projected, then we'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right. If it just averages out to be what's projected, then everything
Well,
would be fine.
LBO does a good job of telling us.
Sounds like some real smart people.
They are, and of course we have a state economist that tells them.
Yes.
And
And they're real smart people too.
They're very smart.
I don't know. Economists are somewhat like weathermen.
Well, they have an opinion, right? It's all conjecture
Well,
and speculation.
actuaries are
Yes.
different.
They are. Actuaries are a little different. That's right. All right. Well, before we wrap up today, something that we did want to talk about a little bit, and it's kind of news to me, but it's this kratom, synthetic opioid type kratom. Now, you've been getting a lot of, I guess, people reaching out to both of y'all about this kratom. Can you explain what is this synthetic drug?
Gene, you want to tell? You want me to do it?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, kratom is nothing new. It's been sold in convenience stores for some time.
Okay.
Again, it's a synthetic drug, and that some people, I've had people tell me that they've had back problems or other problems for years. They've been to 10 doctors and specialists and all this, and kratom's the only answer. Kratom actually does it. So because of that, I mean, you don't want anyone to suffer and be in pain. But it's over the counter now at convenience stores, and like I say, a 10-year-old kid can walk in and buy it. The Senate's position is maybe we don't need to outlaw it, but maybe we need to control it. So it would not be over the counter, it would be behind the counter. It would be like cigarettes or whatever, and you have to be 21 to buy it. So that, and then we'll play it from there. But let's get it under control first. There have been deaths because of it as well, or somewhat overuse of it.
So this is worse than a 10-year-old vaping.
A lot
yeah.
worse.
A lot worse.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's
it'll
marketed
kill
to
you.
look like candy.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Marketed to look like candy?
Yes.
Yes.
It looks, when you go find it in a convenience store, any convenience store you want to, you'll find it. There's some of it that looks like candy. Looks like gummies.
Then you have the little bottles you drink. So,
Really?
Yeah.
So the House has been fighting this. We've had bills on this for the last 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
and mostly to eliminate it, to outlaw it. And now they've come up with we're going to try to put it behind the counter. Actually, we tried to put it behind the counter a couple of years ago. That didn't work because I don't know. But anyway, bill didn't get through it. Anyway, it seems like we're going to finally do something with it. The issues that I see with it are all bad. I mean, I know people saying this and then saying that, but I've been in the bail bonding business for almost 50 years, and I done heard every excuse a drug dealer, a drug user can make. A drug user's a drug user. They gonna come up with what they're gonna come up with why they do it. So I don't think it's something we need to be selling in convenience stores. Period. But at the minimum, we need to get it behind the counter.
So something comes out of the legislature this year.
I expect something to come out, yes, and I expect it to be controlled, and you have to be 21 to buy it.
Okay. And then that's just up to law enforcement to make sure that the convenience stores are
sure, just
doing
like
just like buying alcohol or cigarettes.
Yeah.
anything like that.
Right.
This is not something y'all would consider making more of a pharmaceutical, maybe.
Well, that's been mentioned also.
We tried
Maybe.
to do that, but it hadn't worked yet. So,
Yeah.
you know, you're dealing with companies that sell this stuff. Some of these larger stores and stuff are hiring lobbyists and stuff to try to keep it in the stores.
Who makes this drug? Who makes this
even know.
stuff? I mean,
India? It's coming from India mostly.
is it a pharmaceutical company that makes it, or is it just
I don't know.
I have no idea.
just a company in general, a manufacturer that they're making Skittles on one side of the line and Kratom on the other?
And they say it's made out of natural leaves, and it's not really a drug. And well, so is
Marijuana's out of a
marijuana.
natural leaf too.
Thank you.
So
That's not a good argument to
No.
make with me. I don't buy that argument. Sorry.
Anyway, you know,
Yeah.
it's not something we need kids to be buying, and they're buying it, and they're getting addicted to it, and they're getting sick from it, and some of them are dying from it.
well, a football player had some of it before a football game in Columbus 2 or 3 years ago, and he died during the game from it.
Wow. What's it called? Cardiac
That's-
arrest? Is that basically what it
Yeah.
does? Or
I'm sure that's what it was.
wow. So it's a stimulant of some sort.
Yeah,
Not a good plan.
no.
But we definitely need to.
Well,
Sounds like we need to get something done over there.
we
for that.
do.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. We'll check on that later.
Yeah,
We'll
it's,
see-
it's a big issue right now with
Right.
some people because they depend on it.
Well, here again, I can only speak from experience. My father being the age that he is, and the issues that he has, and the things, marijuana helps him. Now, it's not something that he does every single day. He has his card, if you want to call it regulated, but still, it's the ability to ease the pain on issues that just aren't surgical.
Yeah.
And to sleep at night, that's what he has to do. And so I get it, and I understand. So I understand where it may help. The Kratom may help people. That's possible.
But people don't know what it's doing to the kidneys.
you have
They
no
don't
idea.
know what it's doing to the
It sounds
liver.
like we need more studies on this.
It's
But
just-
if you're terminal,
Well, it definitely needs to be controlled.
it needs to be controlled. We don't need kids at 10 getting hooked on something that's going to ruin their life.
That's right.
That's correct.
At 10 years old, they have no idea what they're doing.
That's-
At 18, most people don't know what they're doing. So, I mean, I didn't.
At 40, a lot of people don't know.
Well, there are still those. Anyway, thanks, guys, for the update from the Dome. I
We're
appreciate it.
getting there. It's
20 days.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll be back next week and it'll be down to 13 days. So, you'll have a lot more information for us by next
Yeah.
week, I'm sure,
or not.
or not.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going into conference committee over the weekend, there might be,
Well, the conferees, once named, they'll start meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll have a pretty good idea. By the time conference weekend comes, you can't find a parking place around the Capitol, believe me. By the time we get ready to file those, all the K through 12 administrators to, the Department of Education, and then IHL and junior colleges,
Oh, I
as
know,
well as
right.
all the state agency folks will be there to make sure that they're not being left out. I'm not. They all know they probably
they'll
won't get
all
everything they
converge
asked for,
on
but
downtown Jackson.
yeah,
Everybody will be there.
it's not a party either.
College presidents, college football coaches, baseball coaches, they
Yeah,
come. They're
they'll
going to
all
send them
be
all
there.
down there.
They'll all be there. The halls, especially the second floor on our end. I don't know about your end.
Right.
But you just have to say, excuse me, to get through the people to get to a meeting.
I need to
Yeah.
just come down and just watch,
Yeah.
just observe and see how many people are actually
It's,
there. I might run into Lane Kiffin. You just
You
never
might.
know.
You may.
You never know who
You
you're going to
don't
see there,
never know.
believe me. But they're there to protect their interests, and
Sure.
I certainly understand
Sure.
that.
Well, we appreciate you guys very
Because
much.
out of sight, out of mind is.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, they want to make sure that you don't forget on
Look,
that.
sometimes that's a good thing. out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes that's a good thing. When you're not on the radar, when you're kind of out of sight, out of mind, and,
Absolutely.
and the legislature just funds your agency, that's great.
But of course, I mean, it's not all appropriations either, like
Sure.
I say, or revenue. We have a lot of general bills that'll be in
That'll
conference
be in
as well.
conference, right?
So, yeah, but we're, you know, what's those saying? It's like making sausage.
It is. It's how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it's the end result. I mean, watching it is awful, but the end result is usually pretty good, and it is. It is. I feel good about this session. I think we've done a lot of good things for a lot of people. So,
Gene?
You know, the best results is when you make everybody mad. When everybody's mad, you know you did the
You're
right
over the
thing.
target.
well, that's
You make everybody mad. When everybody's mad on both sides, that was the right bill.
That
yeah.
was the right one to do.
Yeah, well, I used to say all the time, when neither side like it, but they can live with it,
Yeah.
both sides can live with it, then
That's a good bill.
then you got probably a good bill.
Right. And if we can just get the federal government to understand that.
Good luck with
Good
that.
luck with that, right?
Yeah. Well, again, we balance our budget every
And
year,
they don't.
and we have a reserve. We don't have
Right.
$30 trillion deficit. So, yeah. Of course,
We-
we're not quite as large as the
No.
whole United States either.
No,
but
but-
still, the fact that we do balance our budget every year is, to me, is very important.
Agreed.
And most states do. And not all of them, but most
Right.
states do.
Yeah, but we have several states now that are running deficits.
Oh, yeah, like California.
And they can't print money.
No, they can't.
I think they're planning on the federal government to bail them out.
I hate
I think
to
they better think again.
be the bearer of bad news. But I can tell them over the next 3.5 years, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
They better figure it out, because that's not going to happen. Anyway, thank you, gentlemen.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Appreciate y'all being
We're
here
ready
on
to
St.
get to
Patrick's
work.
Day. Yes, we are. Anyway, thanks,
Oh,
guys. for-
wait a minute.
Oh, whoa.
We didn't touch on one thing.
What's that?
We got an election coming up,
Yeah,
April Fool's Day. I know you're going to touch on it again, but I know that there's some folks from Flowood and Richland and Florence and Brandon that are watching. Please go vote.
Yeah.
Jackson, please go vote. If your city is important to you, you have aldermen and mayors that are running in all the cities around us, everywhere around us. The primaries are April the 1st. Please go vote. If you're not going to be there on April the 1st, please go vote. Go to the clerk's office right now and vote. Take the time to go vote. It's important. Your cities and your mayors and your aldermen are important. Go vote, please.
And your vote is just as important as anyone else's vote.
yes, it is. And it's a right that every
Every vote
citizen needs
counts.
to exercise, because their family members in the past died for that right.
That's right.
They fought and bled for that right, for you to be able to let your voice be heard. And I don't think most people realize this. You know, we get lost sometimes in national politics, and we sometimes get caught up in just state politics. But things that I try to tell people, the closest to government you'll ever get is your mayor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Your mayor and your
And your
alderman.
alderman.
Those people right there are directly affect your life more than anybody else. The cities, and then the county,
That's right.
then the state, then the federal.
All politics are local.
All politics are local. I tell the mayor all the time, Jake, and he's on this show, I tell him all the time, that he has a thankless job, but he cares about people, and he entertains everyone. He talks to everybody. And what policies come out of his office and our aldermen affect people in Pearl directly. So they need to vote for who they want representing them and governing this city. They need to do that. So thank you,
And
Representative, for encouraging that.
I've said it a lot of times. If you do not vote, you do not have a right to
Yeah,
complain.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So
And we've had alderman races in this city that have tied and have a runoff and tie again. So don't think of, I mean, every vote is important.
every vote matters. 28,000 people in this city, and we'll have less than 5,000 that'll cast a vote.
So, and I just want some other cities and all around us, and
Same problem.
same problem. Jackson, biggest problem. People don't realize that the biggest Jackson is last mayor's election was about 17,000 people voted, and
Out of 280,000.
yeah, so you know,
Well, City of Jackson's down to 140 something.
Oh, are they now?
Yeah.
Wow.
but it's still important to go vote. I mean, everybody needs to go vote.
Indeed. For who you feel is the best person for the job. Whether that
It's
be
important.
the incumbent or somebody new.
Whatever.
It's
You
very
go vote.
important.
Just go vote.
Go vote.
Be educated too. Don't just go pull a lever or circle a box just for
You
the sake
need
of
to-
saying I voted and wear your little sticker.
Yeah.
No. Be educated with what's going on. We think that's very important.
Well, I appreciate Gene bringing that up because it's very, very important.
Yes, it is.
And we got important. I mean, you know, we tell people all the time that we have these meetings with all the supervisors and the mayors and all that from all over Rankin County, federal officials and everybody else. We meet once a quarter, and you know, the mayor that you elect and send to that meeting can make a whole lot of difference for the whole county, not just your town, but it affects all of us. I mean, so, and please go make the right choice but take the time to go vote.
And the aldermen as well.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yes, it is. Couldn't agree more. So thank you
All right.
very much.
Thank y'all.
All right, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. All right, so y'all don't run off anywhere. We're going to be right back. We're going to talk about a little bit what's going on inside the city. So we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Mayor Wyndham, and I'm thrilled to show you the city creating its own future. Pearl is located in Rankin County, the fastest growing county in Mississippi, and there's no question why. Access to great schools, even better shopping, and unbridled beauty make Pearl a town that truly embodies its name. And with a truly exceptional team of first responders, public safety is another key component of our success. With fantastic housing opportunities from quaint suburban neighborhoods to gorgeous lakefront properties, there's a place for you here in Pearl. You can't beat the location. Right outside of Pearl is the crossroads of the South, where Interstate 20 meets Interstate 55. From here you can travel anywhere within the state or the country. Or you can choose to stay right here in Pearl or experience the small town atmosphere, community pride, and heart of the local residents.
Welcome back into This Week in Pearl. Wow. What a show this has been. It's been phenomenal. Love talking to the mayor earlier in the show today, as with him dropping by, talking about all the projects and stuff that have been going on inside the city, getting an update from him. It's been fantastic. And then also with our state representatives, Gene Newman and Senator Dean Kirby. It's always great to have them under the dome and talking about what's going on in the Capitol. Lots of good information. So glad that they were able to do that and appreciate it. So now let's talk about what's going on inside the city of Pearl. Well, guess what? We just talked about it on Under the Dome, where they were alluding to vote, go vote. Well, on April the 1st, which is a Tuesday coming up, we will be voting. We're going to be voting in the primary at the Muse Center, located on the Hines campus. It's right off the interstate right there on Country Place Parkway. You can go by there and vote. It starts at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we'll go all the way till 7 o'clock p.m. So City of Pearl is going to vote in one precinct at the Muse Center at Hines campus. Now you can vote absentee. If you're 65 years or older, you can vote right now. You can come into the clerk's office here at City Hall, and you can vote from between 8 and 5. And there's also going to be a chance to vote on the weekend on Saturday. This Saturday coming up the 22nd, as well as the 29th. You'll be able to vote from 8 in the morning until noon. And then after those two Saturdays, that's it. That'll be the last time you can vote absentee. So Clyde Muse Center, April 1st, we'll be voting in the primary, one primary location at the Muse Center. So be sure and exercise that right to vote. Okay, what else is going on? Main Street Pearl is presenting Adult Night. Saturday, April 19th, starting at 6 p.m. on the City Hall complex grounds. Start the night off with a fun-filled, glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt. Now that's pretty cool. For the big kids inside, for you, followed by karaoke and Kim and Crystal at 7 p.m. on the main stage under the night sky. Bring your appetites. Food trucks will be on site ready to serve you. There'll be beer and alcohol also available. Quench your thirst with Pearl's own Terrific Nutrition. They'll be there as well for loaded teas. It's an adults-only event. You must be 21 years or older to attend. So come for the Easter egg hunt, stay for the karaoke, food and fun. That's on the adult night for April 19th. That sounds exciting and fun. Also, what's coming up in Pearl? Well, guess what? Later in the month, April 26th is Pearl Day. It's an all-day event. Starts in our city park, the renovated city park, where activities for the entire family will be going on. Arts, crafts, merchandise, food, vendors, kids zone, games, face painting, all the things with the inflatables and stuff going on there. There'll be live music from Big Earl from Pearl. We'll also have Zach Bridges, who is a voice finalist, and Pearl Jams. They will be there as well. So after the park that evening, make your way over to Trustmark Park on the northwest corner for an amazing free concert headlining Bret Michaels from Poison. Sounds exciting. Obviously, we're all going to want to be there for that. And opening for Bret will be Warrant. Concert starts at 5:30 p.m. in the north parking lot of Trustmark Park. Be sure and bring your lawn chairs. Wow, a lot going on in April. There's a lot happening. Don't want to miss any of that. Thank you very much for joining us this time in Pearl. Until next week, y'all take care.